Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the Humblewood book, talking about the creatures we find in this third-party module for 5th edition. And we're wrapping it up with the Vulpin today. Vulpines are fox people. They fit in with the humble folk, the mammal-like races of this world. And the Vulpin are quite a fun race with a lot of unique features that come along with them. The abilities they get certainly resemble other ones we've seen in the game, but with some unique twists. We'll get into the details of the Vulpin in just a moment. But before we do, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter. But also, you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button just below the video down there. I'd love to see you in the comments. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine. Just liking, subscribing, watching the video is a great way to support me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you for supporting my content. So, Vulpin, because Humblewood is a book that comes from the earlier days of 5th edition, they have standard ability score increases to go with them, and Vulpines get a +2 to their intelligence and a +1 to their charisma. Interestingly, 2 mental stats. Intelligence is the most niche of the stats, only really applying to wizards and artificers. But charisma, on the other hand, is applicable to anybody who wants to be charismatic and is the most common spellcasting stat. I say for these two, I say 7 out of 10 and 8 out of 10, respectively. Vulpin are medium-sized creatures, which is slightly superior to their small-sized counterparts, so I say 10 out of 10 for that. And they have the standard 30-foot walking speed. Interesting, for a fox, I would have thought they would have a slightly faster one, but still, 30 feet is 30 feet, 9 out of 10 for that. And they have dark vision, the standard 60 feet, of which is actually less common in the Humblewood campaign than you'd think. It's valuable nonetheless, and it's one of the most valuable traits that any race can naturally get. I say it is 10 out of 10. Now, they have an unarmed strike, a bite attack, which allows them to use unarmed strikes without using their hands, so they can do it while they're armed. It is 1d6 of damage, but most interestingly, it can be used with your strength or your dexterity. See, normally to attack with your dexterity unarmed, you have to be a monk. That's part of their martial arts trait. But in this case, the unarmed strike just comes from their bite, and it doesn't have to be strength-based. That's special. I would normally say that a d6 unarmed strike is a 9 out of 10 trait anyway, but because you can use it with either, it is 10 out of 10, and I think that that's not a very hot take. That's a very valuable skill to have. On top of that, they get the evasive feature, which adds their intelligence modifier to their dexterity saves. This is a bit of one of those, strategy style things where you can keep your eyes on the battlefield. It's a cool power. Most of the time, like I said earlier, intelligence is a bit of a dump stat, but even if you just have a +1 in it, that's a nice little bonus to your dex saves. And if you are a caster, like a wizard or an artificer, this will really help you out. So overall, I say 7 out of 10. Not bad. Then they get the Bewitching Guile trait, and this one's interesting. They get 3 spells that they can cast once per day as they level up. At level 1, they get a once per day casting of Charm Person. Not bad. At 3rd level, they get Ambush Prey. This is a Humblewood specific spell, which is a lesser version of Invisibility, basically. It's okay. And then at 5th level, they get a once per day casting of the Fear spell, which is actually great. That's a really powerful 3rd level spell. The only downside is that you don't get to choose your spellcasting modifier. It's intelligence only. So we're really leaning into our intelligence with the Vulpin. But these are still great spells, and even if your intelligence isn't your main stat, making sure that it isn't a negative stat and giving you the slightest of boosts to it means that these free spells still could be useful, and once again, if you're an intelligence-based caster, this is great. I say this is a 9 out of 10 trait overall. Finally, they speak two languages, the common language of Humblewood, which is called bird folk, it's the language everybody speaks, and their own Vulpin language. They are bilingual, but they don't get to pick which languages they speak. I call that an 8 out of 10. Overall, the Vulpin are a 9 out of 10 race for me. Their dark vision, their unarmed strikes that can use dex, and their free spells are great features. And the fact that everything leads into intelligence only works to their detriment if you are a different kind of caster. So if you're a cleric or a sorcerer or Vulpin, you're going to have to lean away from your intelligence, meaning that some of these aren't as useful, but I could see a wizard Vulpin being a really strong pick. And so overall, I say this is a 9 out of 10 race, pretty good most of the time, and if you're going to play a wizard, you can't go wrong with these guys. And these races from Humblewood overall don't have any broken features. Everything here makes sense, is nicely balanced, and could easily be picked up right out of Humblewood and thrown into a D&D campaign in any other book. I think that these races are well built, and you should definitely talk with your DM if playing as a furry interests you, because Humblewood has it in spades. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, as well as a link to the Humblewood book. It's made by the Deck of Many, and it is a book I cannot recommend highly enough. One of the all-time great third-party modules. So check it out for yourself. Have a good one, my friends.